What do you think about the situation in Afghanistan? Is it like when Brits left Palestine? I'm expecting horrible development there. Um, Guys, the again, I don't know if you're new here, but I don't usually try to come up with predictions because what I say is that the only thing that is predictable is that unpredictable things are going to happen. Um, and that's the only prediction I always make, and that seems to be the only thing that always comes true. Um, because yeah, so just there are things that have happened before in when that doesn't mean it's going to happen here exactly again, because what we fail to do is a lot of times is we fail to take into account all the factors that lead into something like this, right? We're very rarely able to take into account all the external factors that lead to something happening in history. However, like, I'm not saying we shouldn't use the trends in history to try to come up with skeptical predictions, right? Like predictions that we hold loosely, because there are things that you could notice that if this and this and this happen, it's likely that this is what's going to happen more. For example, one reasonable prediction is that if you use Marxism as a way to run the economy, you are sure to fail. Like that seems to be a fairly reasonable prediction to make every time. Again, I don't know if always, but like there are things that seem to be like giving you good results for prediction over and over and over again. But there are certain things that a lot of people try to use just one example that happened in history once before and be like, oh, this happened back then. For example, let me give you something that is happening on Iranian social media a lot. And so Taliban is going around, for example, now and giving everybody propaganda and telling people that, oh, we're going to respect human rights, we're going to respect women's rights, we're not like the Taliban before, it's going to be better. I mean, it's still going to be Sharia, sorry, but it's going to be better. Like, we're not going to do that many massacres, maybe like less massacres, but less than before. We're not going to like execute all the people that were before us. We're going to become a more inclusive government. We're going to involve some, I don't know, some other racial groups in the government, and so. And a lot of people in Iran, they're saying like, well, this is exactly what the Islamic Republic of Iran said in the 1970s when they took over. Okay, so that's a good thing to mention if you want to say that, if your conclusion is therefore what the Taliban is saying should not be believed. We should be skeptical. We should withhold judgment. Okay, we don't know how bad it's going to get. It could be bad or it could be extremely bad. Or but some people are saying, no, this means that the Taliban is going to do exactly what the Islamic Republic of Iran did. You don't know that. Yes, there are some similarities, but you're just using one example to come up with a conclusion. You can't do that. Like, again, for example, one thing that was different when the Islamic, I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but you can't know these things for sure. So, for example, one thing that happened in the 1979, when the Islamic Republic of Iran took over, was that the Islamic Republic of Iran actually didn't, like, the mullahs actually didn't take over. They were sharing power with the communists, right? But when Taliban took over once before and now, once in the 1990s and again now, they weren't sharing power with they weren't intending to share power with anybody, right? So the mullahs, when they took over in 1979, they were in competition with some other forces, and that made their appetite for tolerance shrink dramatically fast. All right, so much so that they went from like, oh yeah, we're going to respect people's rights, to doing one of the most extreme massacres in our lifetime, like this, within my lifetime, like of communists, right, of heretics and communists, right? And this is one of the most ignored massacres in our lifetime. Like, numbers are all over the place. Nobody knows what exactly the number is, but it is in the thousands, right? And this is like a human rights violation that is have went ignored for a very long time until recently, because now that Raisi is the president of Iran, and he was responsible for, one of the people responsible for the, he was on the Death Council. It was literally named Death Council. That's like very evil name, like, but he, because Raisi, who was on the Death Council, was responsible for a lot of these murders, now it's getting some more attention. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that that element was there, for example, in when the mullahs took over in Iran, and that element does not exist right now in Afghanistan because the Taliban has so successfully taken over with very little competition. So again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but maybe because of the lack of competition, Taliban can afford to be less draconian. I'm not, guys. If you think, if you come at me when, if Taliban goes like all Islamic in Afghanistan, and you come and tell me like you were wrong, I'm gonna lose my mind, because I'm not saying this is gonna happen. Okay, I'm just saying that you can't just conclude that just because of one event. Like you, for example, in Live Chat Dragon is saying like, oh, just like when the Brits left Palestine. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. Okay, the predictions right now, if is, guys, like, think about this: United States with the most capable, advanced intelligence agency in the whole world, okay, could not comprehend the fact that Taliban took over Kabul this fast. Like they did not see that coming. Like that was not, like, they had many scenarios that most of them included the Taliban takeover, okay, but none of them included this speedy of a takeover, like not even close. Okay, so when agencies with that level of, that many experts working there with that level of access to information were completely blindsided by what happened, that should humble us when it comes to making predictions. Okay. Music guy saying Death Council sounds like something off of Harry Potter. Yeah, well, Harry Potter was based on real world events.
Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Callie, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.